Welcome. You're listening to Erasmus Talks. We are your hosts, Elif.
And Malachi. Whether you're new here or already finding your rhythm abroad, this is a space where we share real stories and experiences from international student life. And today, we have a guest.
Yes, let's
Hi,
everyone welcome Melis. Hi, Melis. Can you tell us a bit about
hi
yourself?
everyone. First of all, thank you so much for taking me as a guest. This is really exciting for me. I'm Melis. I'm a BBE student, business engineering student at KU Leuven, and I just completed my second year. And it's really scary to get
Yes.
closer to graduation, hopefully. And yeah, and also I'm 21 years old. I'm living in Istanbul. I'm from Turkey. Yeah, that's it, I guess, for now.
Yeah,
Do you
that's
want to
really
tell them a
good.
little bit about your role in ESN?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah, true. I'm communications and marketing manager at ESNKL Brussels. I just started this position like a few months ago. Before that, I was an active member in marketing, and I'm really happy to be a part of ESN.
that's really good. Us too. So, this episode, we're going to be talking about how life feels in summer when you're a KUL student and what retakes feel like. How are we handling stuff? So before starting, Melis, I want to ask you, like, how has your summer been as a KUL student?
I mean, when you're studying in KU Leuven, you only have 2 months of summer if you don't have any retakes, which is not really possible most of the time.
Yeah,
So I try to have as much fun possible in a 1 month period. I just came to Istanbul from vacation, and it was
that's
really
nice.
great. But in the meantime, I'm completing my internship here, and I just got back to work. And also I'm studying for the retakes, as you know. But my summer right now, like compared to last summer, it is more organized and I know what to do better now. So it's not really, it is, I mean, a little stressful, but it's manageable for me right now. So I'm trying to create a balance still. And yeah, it's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's really good. So Malachi, I know that you're still in Brussels, and Melis, you just told me
I
that you're
am.
in Istanbul. So I
Yes.
think that's your home country, Turkey.
Yes.
So, can we talk about this a little bit? Because I know some people struggle with choosing between staying in Brussels or going home for the summer. So, like Malachi,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you chose to stay in Brussels. How does that decision
Yeah.
happen?
Well, pretty much you open your wallet and you go, ooh, ooh, home looks a little steep right now. And I love going home. I did actually, my parents were able to fly me back. My little brother graduated high school in
Oh,
June, right before the retake. So I went back for like a week and a half. Uh, but then I debated and went, Belgium for summer looks all right. So I've stuck around this summer.
yeah. And Melis, you went to your home country right when the exams ended, I believe.
Yes, I mean, after like 2 days after the exams, I just book a flight to home.
Yeah.
I actually booked that flight right after I learned the exam date, so I got the flight a bit earlier because it gets really expensive to Turkey
Yeah.
from Brussels. So I had to be like planned. For me, like I usually do that, like either booking a flight back home or trying to explore some new places. And for this year, we have Easter break, which is like a long time, and I traveled a lot at that time. So I kind of miss home and my family, and I miss Istanbul, the city. So I just decided that Istanbul would be the best choice. So yeah.
Yeah. That's really good. So for myself, also, I've come to Ankara, Turkey immediately after
Mhm.
the exams because I missed it so much. And it's my first year compared to you guys. So I was
Yeah.
feeling very, very homesick. After the exams
Mhm.
ended, like you, I just booked my flight and came right back to Turkey. But like staying in Brussels, like in summer, I know that is a bit more empty. Does it like feel different, Malachi?
I prefer it. honestly, to most of the year round because I don't know, there's something different. Belgians have a very interesting way of being happy when it's nice outside. And so I go outside and instead of the usual, frowns and scowls and, the occasional like curse it in your direction or whatever, it's like, oh, let's go and sit on a terrace and have fun and drink. And, it's very, the vibes are much better, I think. It was really hot to start out, but I think that honestly, it's a better vibe than most of the year round in Brussels.
Yeah. And how does your routine look like living in Brussels in summer?
Oof, routine is a stretch of the word. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wake up late because I go to bed late because I would say most evenings me and my friends are out doing something. Uh, and so it's I don't know, late mornings, late evenings, and then get what I can done during the day. Usually during the day, I'll get out for a run. I'll maybe try to study languages a bit, and then that's about it before whatever comes in the evening. So yeah.
Yeah, really good. And traveling back to Istanbul, how
Yeah.
does your day look like?
I mean, for the first week, I like sometimes some mornings I woke up and I couldn't believe that I'm in Istanbul. I thought I'm in my dorm room again. So it was a bit different. But like when it comes to Istanbul, it is the city that formed me, like my whole personality actually. So it is a place that I carry its pieces with me like everywhere. So when I come here, I feel like nostalgic, emotional, and I know pretty much what to do. And the first thing in the morning I did was walking my dog because I
Mhm.
can't take my dog with me to Brussels. And walking Bella is like, okay, I'm in Istanbul. I'm with Bella, I'm with my family. It just feels so familiar and warm. So that's the first thing I did. And also for Istanbul, I mean, I don't know if you know, but it's a city that never sleeps. So comparing with Brussels, it's like it is more exciting in some perspectives because you always need to move. It's like really crowded and it's a bit chaotic. But when you grew up in a chaotic environment like Istanbul, you kind of miss it. You got addicted to it. So I was like, I took like a deep breath and I was like, okay, I'm here. Like, this is what I was looking for. Because Brussels for me, it's really calm. It's like little. It has its positive sides and negative sides. So it's like, okay, now I have a lot to do. And my routines, I mean, I could do more things in Brussels because everywhere are really like close to each
Mhm.
other. So you can walk everywhere. You can solve everything by walking. But here there's the traffic issue. And even if you just want to go to a cafe and sit with your friends, it takes you at least an hour. So I could do less things, but still it's fulfilling. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, like you mentioned Brussels and comparing it as well, but like, do you have any aspects of Brussels that you miss while you're in Istanbul?
Hmm. I mean, I think the park culture in Brussels
Yes.
generally, because in Istanbul, it's not a walkable city, as I
Hmm.
said. And like in Brussels, I mean, for me, it was a new thing when I moved there because when there is sun, all of the people are going to Borolakam or like different parks and they're just sunbathing without caring what other people think. And here, it's a bit different. People are a bit more judgmental. Like I can't imagine myself in Istanbul going to a park and just randomly sunbathing. That would be weird.
Yeah,
Nobody does that in here. So in Brussels, I miss being like comfortable with doing some basic stuff because sunbathing, guys, it's the basic thing in the world. Like you just see the sun and you wanna lay in the ground and just chill. In here, it's not like that. Also, like culturally in Brussels, the daylight time in summer is like longer.
it's really
So when
long.
I first come here back from Brussels, I was like, oh my god, the daylight is it's too short, you know? So yeah, I think that's what I miss the most about Brussels.
Yeah. And Malachi, do you still have friends that are like in Brussels?
I would say the majority of the people that I hang out with stayed. We had a
Oh,
few
that's
people go
really
back
lucky of
early
you.
on. Yeah, it was kind of a because last summer I was stuck for 2 weeks before I did go home, without anybody here, and that was rough. So I've been lucky enough to be able to spend most of my time with the people that I already spent time with. So it's yeah, it's been nice. It's been nice.
Yeah. Are you guys not gonna ask me?
Well, I was just gonna say, what was your how has your summer been so far?
My summer has been a little bit chaotic, actually. I've been place to place. I've been sunburned. I've been pale. It was insane, but I'm enjoying it so far, and it's good that like we can come here to our home country and experience like family time as well, because I really missed that while back in Brussels. But like in contrast to that, I when I am back here, I kind of miss being alone and being in a house that I can control everything, and I would say less responsibilities, because whenever I do the dishes for 5 people, but in Brussels I do it for just 1 people. So it's,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a bit weird, but I really do like Turkey, so, and my family, so I'm really happy.
So
So
for both of you
yeah.
then, have you guys had has it been structured being back, or has it been a lot of just live out the day and see what happens? Because like I said, for me, it's been very, I would say, unstructured and disorganized, and so I'm curious.
Yeah, Melis, you go
Um,
first.
okay. I mean, for me, last year it was like just go with the flow. But for this year, I have some responsibilities, guys. Like I have to wake up early to go to the company I'm working in. So it's a bit like an obligation for me to be structured. But in the first week I arrived to Istanbul, it was so messy. I sleep. Like I slept for the whole week because I was really burned out because of all of those exams, and like in Brussels, the heat wave we experienced
Oh
at
my
the end
God,
of the June,
yes.
it was so hard. So I just came home and I appreciate that we have a season here, and I just like sleep as much as possible. So it's like that. But right now it's structured, like with the gym and the internship and the studying time and socializing time. Also, I have a lot of friends back in here. And in my high school, most of my friends moved away. And summer is the only period that we can spend some time with each other. So like we took appointments from each other just to make some time because everybody's doing some stuff. We're in our 20s now, so it's a bit different than high school. So yeah, I can't
Yeah,
say not structured, but I'm working on it. It's good for now.
yeah.
What about you, Elif?
Yeah, for me, it has been really, really structured. Like even if I was on holiday, I was studying, because I have, as you may know, I am a first year student, and like a canon event for first year students is that you have a lot of retakes, and we will touch on that a bit later. But so I have a
Yes.
lot of retakes and I'm so stressed for them, so I have been studying day one since I came here. So my days are really structured. I wake up early, I eat a banana, I get to studying, and then till night I study. And by the way, guys, me and Malachi have some vlogs prepared for you, short vlogs. You can find them on our Instagram, ESNKUL Brussels. Don't forget to tune in for those as well if you want to see how one day of us goes. Yeah.
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 Okay. So the question I want to ask, especially Melis, is like, you must have some friends that are in Brussels and you don't get to see them in the summer. How do you stay connected with them?
Actually, most of them are not staying in Brussels. They returned to their home countries. Like, I have a friend in Japan. I have a friend in Romania, back in Romania, and a lot of different countries, Italy. And the thing was, after the exams, like this is a tradition for us now, we just go to a coffee shop or like go to drink something, and we promise each other to like do FaceTime once a week and update each other.
Mhm.
And for now we are keeping that promise because a lot of stuff happening in our life in our countries right now, and we just FaceTime each other once a week and update each other, and that's pretty much it actually. Like we just try to stay in contact, but it's not like an obligation. It doesn't feel forced. We just miss each other so much. Like my friends are sending me reels about how much they miss me and I'm sending them. So we know that after we arrive to Brussels, the sincerity, the genuine connection will be there, obviously. But it's just, living our other versions of ourselves beside Brussels. So it's not that hard for me to stay connected with them.
Yeah, that's
So
really
yeah,
good. That's really good that you have that habit of keeping in touch. I feel like most
yeah,
students struggle with them that when they first come here, because it's like you know them, but you have only known them for like 1 year or even less. So it's a bit
yeah.
complicated, but it's good that you have this structure set. And we know for Malachi, he has friends there, so he is chill about it, I believe.
That's yeah, it's pretty nice.
What
I won't
about you,
lie.
Elif? Do you
For
keep in
me,
touch?
yeah, I try to keep in touch, but as I said, like first year, it's kind of difficult to keep in touch because you know each other, but you don't know each other. It's like a bit
Yeah.
complicated. But for me personally, I mostly text people. So that's how I keep in touch.
I want to provide a little hope to the first year students who are like, oh, well, I've only known them for a few months and whatever. So I still keep
Yeah.
in contact with all the people I met in my first year, which is not super common from what I understand. But the main group I spend most of my time with, the group that's been here all summer, I only met for the first time, like 90% of them, in September after a trip. Like I got invited on a trip by a mutual friend, and that's how I met
Mhm.
most of that group. And so it's I've known them for 9 months now, but they're some of my best friends. So it's one of those things. If you're a first
Yeah.
year and you're like, oh, but I just don't know. Like it's hard to keep in contact with people. Trust, it does. You'll find people. They're around.
Yeah. That's really good advice.
Definitely.
Yeah. So now I want to switch the perspective a little bit from how summer is going to the fact that we had exams and the fact that we have some more exams coming up, the retakes. So Melis, like, tell us, do you have any retakes
Is that even a question, guys?
in KUL,
I mean, I
honestly?
would love to say
Right.
that I've never had a retake, but that's not the case for me. I mean, facing a retake as an international student feels like the worst case scenario at first. So it was really stressful because like I was a really successful student back in high school. I was always like in top three, one of the top three students in my class. And then I came to this university and I saw that I'm barely passing or barely failing, something like that. So it was a little bit of a shock for me at first. And the acceptance for this process takes a lot of time, especially when the case is not only retakes, especially in your first year, because there are a lot of things to take care, like financial stuff, legal stuff, and also you try to make new friends and you're away from your home, you don't have your support system close to you. So, and then you have the retakes.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
it's
I
hard.
had a bunch of them in my first year. I still
Yeah.
have some. Yes.
And
What
you,
about you?
Malachi? Yeah.
Oh,
Oof. Yeah. Same boat. It's
same.
solid number of them. It's how it
Yeah.
goes. It's how you living. I don't know. There's not like it's tough. There's not much to elaborate on. Yeah, I got retakes. I'm a Kai Leuven student. I was the same. Like in high school, I was like doing well in school. I'm like taking accelerated classes. I'm like, what is university? I
Academic
mean, and in
buffet?
right, pretty much. And I mean, in the States, oh my goodness, university is not like this. At least not the first two
Yeah.
years. You don't have the same level of challenge. So I hear, throughout high school, my teachers going, you got to be ready for university. And I always knew about how uni in the States worked. So I was
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? And then I came here, and I've
Then
never
it
been
hits you.
more humble. Yeah. What about you, Elif? It's your first year this year, so
Yeah.
I got to imagine there are a couple.
There are more than a couple. So I want to, like,
Same
when
boat.
talking about retakes, I want to talk about some KUL norms, like the KUL stuff that every single, like most of the students experiences. For me personally, first year students, because in KUL you don't need to go to classes, like we don't have attendance. So in first year, you kind of don't go to classes, to be honest. Like you
Actually,
want to explore the city, you want to decorate your new house, you're adjusting to cooking on your own, waking up on your own. Like it's really hard to get the motivation to go to school. At
Guys, the
least,
weather is -6 degrees sometimes,
yes, yes,
right.
yeah. Like
-10.
at least for me it was like that, and most of my friends that I have been talking to say that that is what they're experiencing as well. So I feel like in first year most of the students have this retake pressure, and you don't get to live your summer. Like how was your first year for you guys? Like Melis, how was it for you?
I mean, my first year, um, yeah, this is such a hard question to answer because it was hard. Like it was difficult, not because of retakes, not just because of retakes. It's
Yeah,
also because, like, when you are especially an international student, I think it is like exams are not just exams for us because when you leave your home country, you do a lot of sacrifices and you don't only carry your own expectations, you only carry your friends expectations, your family's expectations, the sacrifices had like done for you in your family house, and you left something there and you start something new, and it has to worth it, because the even though we are distracted with all of those socializing issues or like the weather or the foreign culture things, we came here for a purpose. We came here to be a student. And the first thing we forgot is to be a student, because we are being a student in life aspect. We are learning how to deal with financial stuff, legal stuff, and we are learning how to build a new life for yourself, because it's like trying to find your existence in the streets that you have never walked before. So you're trying to exist in a foreign culture, and you
yeah,
have a lot of humbling experiences. Like you see university like high school at first. Okay, I have some exams, but you forgot that those exams are going to give you a diploma that you're going to use in a real life job. And that takes time to process and digest and accept. And as I said, you don't have a support system. Like when I was back in high school, there are some days that I was really lazy on the couch just watching some series, and I remember my mom is coming like, okay, this is extreme, like you need to study. This is a support mechanism, when
yeah.
you feel like you're lazy, someone comes and tells you that you need to study, and you feel forced, and that pushes you
Yes,
to
like that's
study.
what I'm saying. Like nobody tells you to get up at 7 a.m. So you don't get up at 7 a.m. on your own. Like it's so
Yes.
hard to manage that.
Yes, and the
Yeah,
school is not pushing you to come to classes, but the university's mission is to make this whole university experience, not just with like going to university. The university encourages us to travel, they encourage us to do our internships, because after I realized that it's really important to have time, like how valuable time is for me, I appreciated the attendancy flexibilities more. But in my first year, I didn't have that. I didn't know what to manage. I didn't have anything. Like I have a lot of things to do, but I didn't actually have anything. Like it was
yeah,
an abstract concept. Yeah, I'm an international student. Yeah, that's it. So after things getting real, I think what I like about retakes is that if you fail some classes, you realize that you need to study now, because you realize that,
yes,
okay, I came here to be a university student.
yeah,
I was wandering around. I was developing some qualifications of mine. I was in a survival mode, but now I have to become a student. Now I'm in a
yeah.
university, and it is stressful. It is
It
completely
is
stressful.
stressful. And I believe, like Malachi, I don't want to ask you the same question, but I believe like you had the same experiences in your first year as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. Yeah, I
And
mean, I think I don't want to call it universal, but I think it's generally
in
the vibe I
KUL,
get
at
from most
least,
people.
it is, I think, a very,
Statistically,
Yeah,
yeah,
statistically, it's
very
very
common
common.
event.
right.
So like, but I want to talk about the like for the newcomers that might be listening to this podcast, like what should they expect from their studying in KUL? Like for myself, I didn't know that KUL from the first year was this hard, but the school makes it this hard to select people that cannot finish the university and cut them out. So
Yes.
Right.
what would you have wanted to known before you came to this university?
That's a tough one.
Um,
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Melis, if you have an answer immediately, that's
I mean, okay. I think in KUL's perspective, they are giving most of the students a chance because the acceptance rates are not really low, you know? It's most of the students
But the
who
rankings are
did,
really high. Yeah.
yes, the ranking is really high. So it's like one of the most prestigious universities in Europe, and it's the first one in Belgium. So, yeah, there is, of course, an academic level which would be perceived as high. But the thing they are doing in our first year is, I don't think it's the only purpose is to eliminate people, but it is also about like for you to realize if this is a good switch for yourself, you know? Because I had this arguments with my inner voice most of the time, like, do I even belong here? Can I do that? So it is, I mean, you can see the most negative perspective. Like you can just see that, okay, they're eliminating us, this is survivor, like I'm gonna pass or I'm gonna get kicked out, you know? This is the worst case scenario perspective that you can imply to yourself. And I had that perspective, which was like really, really exhausting mentally. So instead, I try to perceive this situation as okay, like this is a platform where I can challenge most of my skills to like my potentials, the highest limits of my potential, let's say. Because for me, like I loved math before coming to BBE, business engineering, and then I saw the math they're teaching us and I was like, I know nothing about math.
Yeah.
Or for example, for coding, I never had a coding class in high school, and I never like see myself as a person who's really qualified in coding. But I was like, okay, this is a challenge. So instead of seeing this as like an elimination process, I see it as a challenge to overcome.
Yeah,
So
I think yeah, that's a really good perspective to give because me as a first year student, I think as most of the first year students, I focus on the bad side. I focus on maybe not
yes,
continuing to the school, maybe being cut off, as I said. But you having lived the first year like stress, I feel like you gave a really good advice. And like Malachi, what would have you like to know?
um I wish I could say that I've gained more wisdom about this uni than I have, but I do think reframing it as early as possible, like Maylee said, instead of looking at it as they're getting rid of me, you just have to know going into it. Likely, now I don't know everybody's background, but likely it will be the greatest academic challenge you've ever had. Your first year at Kai 11. I mean, if you can understand that and go about it better ways. I mean, most people I talk to go, I didn't study enough my first 2 semesters. I didn't, go to uni enough, or I didn't do this or that. I would say that that's one of the biggest things. You have to immediately reframe it as this is an academic challenge, and you can do it, but you have to work for it. I also think, just adding a little bit, because my perspective personally, if you're going to do that, some professors are better watched online. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say who. I'm just saying some of them lay out videos weekly that are better to watch the videos and go to their study sessions than it is to go to their class.
Yeah,
But
that's
you
I
didn't hear that
think
here.
I
yeah,
also want to mention something.
yeah.
I also want to say something for the newcomers, especially.
Hmm.
You will meet with a lot of people with like who are giving you the worst case scenarios. You're gonna get deported. you're gonna get kicked out. You're not gonna be able to achieve this. You're gonna barely pass with 10. Yes, these people are there. You will hear a lot of bad stories, but try to shift your perspective to the good stories. People who could actually graduate from this university, people who actually achieved something, or people who are working on it. Because feeding your mind with all of these negative things, you will find yourself in a position where you're telling yourself that I can't do it. I'm not smart enough to pass these exams. I'm not qualified enough. I'm an immigrant here. They're not even like they don't even love me or whatever. So they're not gonna even accept me at the end. So just don't feed yourself with that, because those informations are not really true. Because most of the people are having their own journeys. Like, I met a lot of people who are going through some personal stuff and still find a way to continue to this university. So instead of just accept that this is gonna be difficult, this is gonna be different. I think the newcomers should first accept that it's gonna be difficult and different, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be wholly negative. So maybe this would be like a good advice for the
Yeah, I
newcomers.
feel like for me as well, because I'm a first year student, what you said inspired me to think about like motivating myself for the positive. Because most of the time, us people, this is just our nature. We motivate ourselves with negative stuff. Like, if you don't study, you're not going to pass. But maybe we should motivate ourselves with like, there are people that were in this situation and still made it out. And you can be one of them. Yeah, I feel like
Yes.
this is a really, really good message to give out to newcomers and that people that are going to be coming to K11. Yes, it's hard. Yes, you're gonna struggle maybe in your first year the most, but it's, I think, so worth it with the friendships you make, the education that you get. I feel like you would agree on this with me.
Yes. Also, it is really important to ask those two questions to yourself. For me, it was like that. Is it the situation or is it me? Because I found myself procrastinating a class till the last week before the exam.
Yeah.
And this is a whole lecture, a whole course that the professors could cover several months. And I tried to cover it in a week. And then I failed. And I was like, I'm not smart enough. No, you didn't study enough. You didn't focus on that course enough. And you don't have to feel guilty. You couldn't focus on that class because you had this, or you were doing something else. It's not something that you should feel ashamed or guilty. The circumstances bring you like to that position. But right now,
Right.
you should ask this question: is it me? Like, do I study enough? Or after you tell yourself, okay, I studied, I managed my time well, I did everything I could do, and I still failed. Okay, so is it the situation? Do I belong in this program? Is this program for me? Like, am I actually love doing this? Am I happy? Or do I need some extra support? Do I need some tutoring? Is it like, maybe I'm not sufficient enough to cover a class by myself? Maybe with extra support, I can handle it, you know? So I think you should question, is the situation or is it you? And you should be completely honest with yourself, because I saw a lot of people and also myself. Sometimes we are tend to manipulate ourselves about, oh, I studied enough, but you only studied 5 days without sleeping and you're exhausted. But it doesn't mean you
Right.
understand it, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Because
I
true.
our
think,
courses in
yeah.
KUL is different than most of the universities, because they actually expect you to understand the topics, not
Yeah,
just
yeah,
passing. The questions are
yeah.
aligned with this logic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
I
I
think
think
Melis,
just
yeah. Oh, you go, Malachi.
sorry, I was just gonna say, like I think before we move on or whatever, I also just want to point out you said something about don't necessarily feel guilty about it or whatever. And I think one of the biggest things I always see with my close friends and whatever, uh, exam scores come out, and that's got to be the worst day, especially at Kailov, and it is the worst day. If there are new students, you'll find out. if there are, or maybe you won't, maybe you're a genius, I don't know. And if you're a second year or a first year just wrapping up, the exams drop and you go, oh my God, especially if you're in public, worst day. Because my buddies came to visit a couple weeks back, and I was like, oh, exams are out. And they were like, you should check them. And I was like, yeah, I'll just rip the Band-Aid off. And I checked, and it was really rough. And I was like, ooh, that sucks. And then the next day, I was having a blast again. And I think the message I want to give, whenever people check those, you cannot do anything to fix the semester you just had. There's nothing you can do. The exams have dropped. Once that happens, I think a lot of people are very keen to, pity themselves a lot and whatever. And I do understand. I totally get it. It sucks so much. But it's also not worth your time to worry about what's just happened. What is more worth it is to look forward and go, retakes are coming. I have this many chances for this class. This is what I know, whatever. And then to work off of that is much more productive, I think.
Very, very wise
I
messaging, guys. Thank you so much for that, for myself and for I think the listeners will appreciate them as well. But okay, so moving on. So we have retakes, yeah, and we are in summer. What advice would you give to people that have retakes in summer, but that feel like they have FOMO, fear of missing out of summer as well, because all of their friends, families they don't have retakes, they're fine.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
how do you handle that? How do you manage that with summer? Because I know I'm struggling a bit as well.
I was gonna say I'll have to leave it to you two because I wish I could tell you. I'm a very social person. Spend a lot of time with people, and especially it being my fourth exam season coming up, I am well. I think that's what you call it. Sixth. I don't know what you technically call retakes, but whatever. It's
Yeah.
my last try season per se. So I think the hardest part for me has been finding the drive to do anything about it. So I'd love to hear some wisdom here. If you guys got anything
Yeah.
for me, that's awesome.
But I feel like just saying that people are struggling is also good enough as well. Because I feel like we isolate ourselves. We feel like I am the only one experiencing this. And we feel ashamed of it, even. We cannot talk about it. But I feel like it's super important to talk about it and let other people know that you're struggling and struggling is normal. But okay, Melis, do you have any advice, or maybe you're just struggling and you want to point it out as well?
mean, like most of the students, I'm also struggling with the retake exam stress. And the advice I could give, like more like study tips or how to manage this time period sort of tips, I can say first make a list because I'm such an organized person. Make a list of your scores. If you failed that class, like barely failed that class, first focus on that class to make yourself a bit more motivated. For me, like I had some classes last year that I failed with 8, 9, and I felt like, okay, I was nearly passing this class. That means I know some things. I have some know-how, and how can I make it better? Because I already know some things, I'm not zero. So starting from the things that you're not zero would make you study more. And after having that pattern of studying, like waking up every morning, because in KUL, even with some challenging courses, when you understand what you're doing, it becomes fun. I can say that with math. Like when I understand what I'm doing, I have fun doing it. So when you start from those sort of courses, it makes it easier. And the way our brain works, I can tell. Like I'm really interested with neuroscience, so I'm sharing some scientific things.
We would
Your
love to hear
brain,
them.
yeah, your brain doesn't really care about what you want. It cares about your patterns, like what are you doing continuously. So if you're laying on bed stressing about exams but you want to study so much, your brain doesn't care about that. One morning, you should set the alarm and start studying and make it like a habit for like 7, 8 days. After that, your brain recognizes as a pattern and starts like triggering you to study. It's same with sports, like you go to gym like consistently, and then you want to go to gym after a while. When you don't go, you feel guilty. So you need to build this mechanism by convincing yourself that you need to study. And also, my second advice is to find some people who are in the same boat as you. This doesn't mean that you need to distance yourself from your friends, but sometimes in life we need to accept that, okay, I'm going through this in my life right now, and my other friend who's studying in London uh, is chill about the exams. She doesn't have any retakes, and she's just, socializing and having fun. But right now, I'm in this place, and I need to accept that. Stop comparing yourself and just look at your life like this, not like this. For a while, look at it like this, and find some people who also are tend to share the same stress, or who also have some retakes, and try to get a bit closer with them, and try to create like a support mechanism between those friends, like encourage each other to study. That would be really, I mean, that was really beneficial for me, especially in my first year, like staying in touch with my friends who also had retakes, because my friend is texting me like, okay, I'm studying, like I start studying mathematics today, and I was like, okay, I need to do that too. Or she studied accounting and she found a really good tutor, so she recommends me and I start doing accounting. And my daily conversations start including my retakes, my exams, my classes, so my life becomes more focused on my academic journey. So just accept that you're in that phase of your life, you need to focus on your academics, and then find some people who thinks similar to you, and make a list and start from the less hard to the most hard. Like, no, sorry, like, yeah, the less
Yeah.
difficult and the most difficult. So I think that would be the advice. And don't burn out yourself, because in summer, especially if you're back home, I can say you're not cooking. Your family is helping you out for those stuff. So use that time for studying. You have time, like, because retakes, you have time for retakes. Don't feel like you're missing out, or like, time flies really fast. We have time and we can cover everything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
A personal note that I would like to add to your what you just said is that for me, because I have so many retakes right now, for the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've been waking up, studying, going to bed. That was my whole routine. And for the last couple of days, for the last week, I was feeling little bit depressed. I was not motivated to study. I was like accepting my fate, like
Hmm.
basically. And then my family was like, you should take one day off. You should take one day off and don't study and go outside, hang out with friends. And after that, I was studying way, way, way better. So I feel like being gentle with yourself, accepting that you maybe have failed, but most people fail. It's not you, you know.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, accepting
I
that
mean,
and giving yourself time. Yeah.
we did get I mean, first off, you guys, I've got like a little notepad next to me. I'm gonna have to start writing because these are all this is gonna help out for sure. But
Yeah.
no, we got a response from somebody on Instagram actually who asked about this. They said, "How do how am I supposed to study? It's too nice outside." And that's seriously something I struggle with. I'm often like exercising outside or doing something with people, and so I sort of have the same issue. But I think one of the things is when you're studying, don't you don't have to deprive yourself of all those things necessarily just to keep studying. I think it's very important, and again, this is coming from somebody who's maybe living a little hedonistically right now, but I will say that you know, if you're studying and you look outside and you can't focus and whatever, take a walk. It's summertime. Go outside a little bit, or at the very least, leave yourself adjacent to it. Put yourself in the sunlight. If you're studying, maybe go to a cafe instead of staying inside at home. If you're, worried about certain things, I think that not depriving yourself of summer while also knowing how to organize your summer is going to be your best friend in that regard. I think that that's and this is me talking to myself right now as well. I need to do this, but
Yeah, like
absolutely,
don't.
I think that
Yeah.
I think that the break days are just as necessary as the I'm studying all day. type of days.
Yeah.
So
And like
Yes.
when we are talking about this and giving advice, please don't assume that we have it all together. Like all of us are
right,
struggling. Like I can't
absolutely.
study sometimes, or maybe I study and then at night I remember nothing. It's not beneficial. Like, and Malachi is in the same situation. Sometimes he cannot take the time to study or to go out. He cannot separate that. And I believe Melis also struggles with the same things as well. So take our advice with a grain of salt, because
Right.
none of us are perfect and we're just giving advice that we want to be given as well, not that
I
we
was about to
follow
say
this step
we're
to step.
yeah. It's if somebody is somehow listening this far, good for them. And we're just chatting and whatever. Uh, but definitely do what works for you at the end of the day. Like we're talking about what works for us, and it's just a conversation. But and I think with our limited run times here, we're just trying to get as many ideas across as possible. But whatever works for you is really what you should stick with. If what I've said, going outside actually fully takes you out and distracts you, don't do it. But I'm saying personally, like the things we're saying, I would say are generally applicable. Like
Yeah.
I don't think like a study psychologist is like you should stay inside all the time and only study. I think they would also advocate for going out or balancing your time a bit better. So, but yeah, we're just trying
Yeah.
to get our personal opinions across.
Yeah, and the reason that we had Melis as our guest today is because we think that the advice she gives us and the advice that she receives from her family, from her surrounding, is beneficial for you to hear as well. That's why we are so glad to have
Absolutely.
Melis with us today. So,
Thank you so
moving
much.
on. Yes. So, we've been talking about all like butterflies giving advice and stuff, but there is something serious about this as well. There is some applications that might happen if you don't pass certain amount of classes. Melis, do you want to
Yes.
talk about this a little bit more? Because I know that you know some stuff about this.
Yes. So basically, when you're an international student, the Student Immigration Office can sometimes renew policies, and it can happen once every year. It can affect the tuition fees, it can affect the credit requirements, and your stay in Belgium. So it is actually really important to be knowledgeable about, like, be conscious about those consequences, let's say. So, I think for this year, you need to get at least 18 credits to continue in the same program you have started. And I think it's going to be higher next year, but I don't want to give certain numerical data right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the for your stay in Belgium, you also need to um, get certain credits, and last year in your first year you need to in your first 2 years you need to get at least 45, but right now it is higher. So please, before coming to Belgium or when you come to study in KUL, please check those policies and be conscious about them so you can manage your exams and you can calculate your credits more carefully.
Yeah.
And yes, and
And I feel
also,
like it's, oh, sorry,
uh,
continue.
okay, for the newcomers, the milestone year, your first year, is the most important one. And you have 4 chances per every class you take. And there are also some other parameters like tolerance credits and other stuff. But basically, if you fail your milestone classes in your fourth try, you'll not be able to continue with the program you started with. So just be aware of this information.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
unfortunately, being able to say that you didn't maybe study enough is good, but it may have consequences as well. And I feel
Yes.
like most of us don't know about like the Belgian bureaucracy stuff because it doesn't get said a lot. Like it doesn't get
Yes.
officiated enough to us. So I feel like us informing students here is really important as well. So if you want to be kept up to date with news about your studying, please don't forget to follow us. So, to wrap things off, I want to end this episode with some personal reflections about Belgium and being an international student in general, because we have spoken about some intense stuff this episode. So, let's just relax a bit. And I want to directly ask our guest, Melis, what has been the happiest moment you have experienced when you lived in Belgium? Like the moment that stuck with you the most?
The moment that stuck with me the most. Okay, shout out to Ayana. Like she's my best friend right now, and I'm so glad that I met her. And the happiest moment I had, it is actually coming from like a sad story. But I mean, I was having a really bad process, let's say, and I just lost a loved one, and I was really alone in that city. And I spent my first time at her house. It was our first sleepover together, and that was the night that I genuinely didn't feel alone in a whole new country. And that night was my happiest night because I genuinely felt that I gained something. I gained the most valuable friendship ever. So maybe that moment could be my happiest and also the saddest moment in Belgium.
That's a
Yes.
really touching story. And you, Malachi, I want to hear it from you as well.
Happiest memory. I wish I would have prepared some, dude.
Maybe that's something
I
that
don't know.
struck you the most that comes to your head at the
Right.
moment.
I think like every birthday I've ever celebrated here has been really like it. There's something about it where like there's I love spending time with people. That's like one of my big things is connection. And so I think that travels are fun and whatever, but I think the thing that always comes up is it's somebody's birthday and watching all of my close friends rally together and do something thoughtful for somebody we all care about, and then spend the evening together. I think it's something that constantly reaffirms like why I'm here. It's something where I look at it and I go, oh, that's why I'm still in Belgium. It's not, it's yeah, I think it's got to be everybody's. Every time a birthday comes around, even if I end up broke at the end of like those weeks, because I have just spent all my money on a friend, it's good. I think it's probably the most important to me.
Yeah. Okay.
What
So,
about you, Ailith?
yeah, for me, I think it was something that like is similar to Melis's story. It comes from a sad story. I was really struggling in Belgium with exams and stuff. And then my parents came to support me. And yes, and that was, I think, my happiest moment in Belgium. But so, to come close to the end of our episode, a new segment we're introducing with episodes that we have guests on are rapid questions. We are going to ask you questions and we want you to answer them within 1 or 2 words as fast as possible. Is that fine with you, Melis?
It's totally fine.
Okay, so we're starting. Be ready. What's your favorite Belgian city?
It's Ghent and Brussels.
Okay, your favorite cafe in Brussels?
Oh, I think it's a 7.
A
Cafe
seven. Okay.
7. Yeah,
Fries or waffles?
definitely fries.
Okay. Summer in Brussels or summer at home?
Summer at home, guys. I'm sorry.
And best ESN event?
Oh my god. This is okay. I think it's the black and white Sprito party in the beginning of the semester. For me, it was
Yes.
that. Yeah.
It was so fun. Yeah. So if you're a new student coming to Belgium, don't forget to follow ESN for being integrated into the city. And I think this is our end of the episode. Anything you want to
Yeah.
add?
I just had a couple things, so a couple thank yous. First off, Elif, thank you to pretty much writing most of this episode. That was super helpful. Thank you to our guest, Melis. It was awesome to hear another perspective. And finally, thank you to everybody watching. If you've listened this far, I don't believe you, but good job.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
so
I think
much.
that's all I have.
Yeah. And whether you're here or there, Erasmus Talks will be right there with you. See you in the next one.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.